The rope dug into her wrists as she struggled to breathe, the cold metal of the abandoned storage room pressing against her back. "You don't belong here," the tallest boy sneered, his voice echoing in the darkness. Amelia kept her eyes down, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing her cry. But a single tear escaped anyway, rolling down her cheek and falling onto the dusty floor. It was her first day at West Ridge High, and she was already learning its cruelest lesson: some people attack what they do not understand. Amelia Rivera had moved more times than she could count. With her mother working a government job that demanded constant transfers, Amelia had grown used to new towns, new schools, and new faces that stared for all the wrong reasons. She had hoped, prayed, that West Ridge would be different. But within minutes of walking through the front doors, she could feel the eyes on her. The whispers, the judging glances, the quick shoves in the hallway. But she didn't expect it to escalate so fast. During lunch, she carried her tray silently toward an empty table. That's when Ashley, queen of the school, self-appointed ruler, and her two shadows intercepted her. Ashley's icy smile was the first warning. "New girl," Ashley said loudly, making sure her voice carried. "Where do you think you're going? This table isn't for people like you. People like me," Amelia thought bitterly, though she didn't say a word. She simply turned and walked away, holding her tray tight so her shaking hands wouldn't give her away. Ashley didn't like that. By the end of the day, the rumors had started. The lies, the name-calling, and when Amelia stopped responding, the bullies escalated further, dragging her into an old storage room near the back gym. Before she could even scream, they tied her wrists with rope from a pile of sports equipment. Ashley leaned close, her perfume sickly sweet. "You don't fit here, and people who don't belong," she whispered, "should be reminded of their place." Amelia felt fear grip her chest, but she kept her voice steady. "You don't know anything about me," Ashley smirked. "Don't need to. I make the rules here." They laughed as they left, slamming the door shut. Amelia's heartbeat pounded in her ears. The room was cold and quiet, except for her shaky breaths. She pulled at the rope, wincing as the fibers scraped her skin, but she didn't stop. She had been through harder things. She had survived moves, loneliness, and starting over more times than any teenager should. She wasn't giving up now. Meanwhile, outside the room, a student named Liam had witnessed the bullies dragging her inside. Liam was quiet, observant, and carried a heaviness most students didn't know about. He had been bullied in middle school and still carried the scars, inside and out. Something in Amelia's frightened eyes reminded him of his younger self. He hesitated, fear creeping in like an old friend, but then he took a shaky breath and ran to the principal's office. Principal Harris had a reputation for being stern but fair. When Liam burst through the door, out of breath and trembling, Harris listened, really listened. And then his expression changed from confusion to a quiet storm. "Show me," he said. Back in the storage room, Amelia had almost freed herself when the door swung open. Ashley stood there with another student, planning to scare her again. But instead, they froze. Behind them stood Principal Harris, his arms crossed, his face unreadable. Ashley straightened, trying to regain control. "Principal Harris, we were just..." "Enough," he said, his voice dangerously calm. His eyes shifted to Amelia, still tied, breathing hard but holding her chin high. He stepped forward and helped untie her carefully, gently, as though she were made of glass. Then he stood up, turning to face the group of students now gathered in the hallway, staring in shock at what they had done. "Do you know who you've just tied up?" Harris' voice boomed through the corridor. Ashley lifted her chin. "Just some new girl." Harris shook his head. "Her full name is Amelia Rivera Carter." A ripple of murmurs swept through the students. Ashley blinked. "So?" Harris took a breath. "Her mother is Judge Elena Carter, the federal judge who visits our school next week to launch our anti-bullying program." Silence. Dead silence. Ashley's bravado vanished, replaced by panic. We didn't know." Harris raised his hand sharply. "That's the problem. You didn't care to know. You didn't care who she was, what she'd been through, or what kind of person she might be. You saw someone new, someone different, and you tried to break her." Amelia felt her heart tighten at his words, but it wasn't the judge's daughter revelation that mattered most to her. It was that, for once, an adult was standing up for her. Harris turned to her, his expression softening. "Amelia, would you like to say something?" Her throat tightened, but she forced herself to speak. "I don't want them expelled," she said quietly. Ashley gasped as if relieved, but Amelia wasn't done. I want them to understand what they did. I want them to face it. Harris nodded, impressed. Then that's exactly what will happen. And so, Ashley and her friends were assigned to a weeks-long program, daily sessions with the counselor, community service, and mandatory participation in the anti-bullying launch with Amelia and Judge Carter themselves. A heavy consequence, but a learning one. At first, Ashley resisted, rolling her eyes, refusing to participate. But listening to Amelia share her experiences, moving constantly, being judged, never feeling like she belonged, something shifted. When Ashley was finally pushed to talk about her own insecurities, the truth spilled out. She was terrified of losing control, terrified of being irrelevant, terrified of being replaced. She bullied others to protect herself from being bullied. By the end of the program, the two girls weren't friends, not yet, but they understood each other. Truly understood. And understanding is the first step to healing. On the day of the anti-bullying launch, the gym was packed. Judge Carter spoke powerfully about kindness, justice, and the responsibility every student has to defend those who stand alone. But the most powerful moment came afterward. Amelia stepped up to the microphone. Her voice shook at first, but then it steadied, strong, clear. We can't change how we look or where we come from, she said. But we can choose who we become. And today, I choose to forgive, not because what happened was okay, but because I don't want to carry anger where hope should be. The entire gym fell silent. Then, slowly, students rose to their feet, applauding. Not because she was the judge's daughter, but because she had shown courage that inspired them. Ashley clapped too, tears in her eyes, understanding the weight of the moment. As Amelia stepped down from the stage, Principal Harris leaned toward her. Welcome to West Ridge, he said warmly. You belong here. For the first time in a long time, Amelia believed it. And that belief was the beginning of everything good that came next.